Three stages in a woman's life when her need for connection grows stronger. A reality many men never understand. There are three specific stages in a woman's life when her desire to build a deep and meaningful connection with a man tends to intensify significantly. And this doesn't happen by chance, nor is it solely driven by emotions. Behind these changes lies a complex combination of psychological and biological factors, accumulated experiences, and priorities that evolve over time. However, many men make the same mistake. They assume that women seek the exact same things in relationships throughout their lives. They believe that attraction, emotional needs, and romantic expectations remain virtually unchanged from early adulthood to maturity. But reality shows something very different. Researchers studying human development have observed time and again that priorities shift as people progress through different stages of life. What seemed essential at 20 often ceases to be so at 30 or 40. And when we talk about relationships, these changes tend to be especially visible in many women. Understanding this can prevent one of the most common mistakes, interpreting changes in a woman's behavior as something personal. Because often it's not inconsistency, they've simply changed their priorities. Let's look at these three major stages. First stage, from 18 to 22 years old, the exploration phase. This stage usually occurs between the end of adolescence and the beginning of adulthood. It's a stage marked by self-discovery, exploration, and emotional experimentation. During these years, many women are still discovering who they really are, what they want to build, and what kind of life they envision for the future. That's why their attention is often focused more on experiencing life than on seeking immediate stability. And there's another important factor. The brain is still developing. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for planning, risk analysis, and long-term decisions, continues to mature during these years. This makes the present feel much more important than the distant future. Excitement matters. Adventure matters. Intense experiences matter. That's why many women at this stage are naturally drawn to situations that make them feel alive and emotionally connected. Relationships can be important, but they are often experienced through emotion, discovery, and intensity, rather than the idea of permanence. This doesn't mean a lack of commitment. It means that commitment isn't usually the top priority yet. They are actually learning. They are learning about attraction. They are learning about boundaries. They are learning about compatibility. They are learning about emotional connection. And they are also discovering who they are becoming. That's why the men who tend to attract their attention during this stage usually project energy, confidence, spontaneity, and the ability to create memorable experiences. But with time, something changes. And when life changes, priorities change too. Second stage, from 25 to 30 years old, the reevaluation phase. Here, a silent transformation occurs. Many women begin to ask themselves something different. What do I really want in a partner? The environment begins to change. Some friends get engaged, others start families. Careers begin to solidify. And little by little, life stops feeling like an open possibility and begins to feel more concrete. At that moment, a new way of looking at relationships emerges. What once seemed exciting may no longer be enough. A fun but inconsistent man may begin to lose his appeal compared to someone stable, emotionally mature, and capable of building something lasting. And this change often surprises many men. The woman who once valued adventure may now seek consistency. The one who once prioritized chemistry now pays attention to character. The one who once ignored certain details now recognizes signs that previously went unnoticed. Not because she's become more demanding, but because she's become more selective. Experience has taught her. She's seen relationships work. She's seen relationships break down. She's observed other people's decisions. And she's understood that a solid relationship needs much more than fleeting emotions. Studies on attachment and relationships show that during this stage, many people begin to value stability and compatibility more. New questions begin to arise. Can I trust this person? Can we grow together? Do our values align? Can I build a future with him? Attraction still matters. Emotional connection still matters. But an additional condition appears. Long-term potential. And then comes the stage that is most often misunderstood. Third stage, from 38 to 45 years old. the phase of authenticity. By this time, life has already taught enough lessons. Many women have loved. Many have experienced disappointments. Some have built a family. Others have gone through difficult breakups. Many have dedicated years to work, personal growth, or caring for others. But something often appears that completely changes the perspective: clarity. They know themselves much better than they did 20 years ago. They no longer feel such a need to impress. External approval loses importance. Emotional games cease to be appealing, and they begin to look for something different: emotional peace, authenticity, confidence, real companionship. At this stage, many women stop asking themselves, who looks good on the outside, and start asking themselves, who truly improves my life? The answer is often very different. Superficial qualities lose their power. Now, emotional security matters. Can they communicate honestly? Can they be there when things get tough? Can they offer stability instead of chaos? Many psychologists describe this stage as a shift toward authenticity. People stop chasing validation and begin to value truly deep connections. That's why a woman at this stage often looks for someone with whom she can feel completely herself, someone who brings peace of mind, someone who conveys stability, someone who understands the value of emotional intimacy. And for many, this becomes one of the most important stages of their romantic life. The reality that many men never hear: a woman's needs don't stay the same forever. They change. They evolve. What she values at 20 might be different from what she values at 28. And what she seeks at 28 might be nothing like what she considers important at 42. That's not a contradiction. That's growth. The same person might seek excitement at one point, stability at another, and emotional depth later on. When a man doesn't understand this, he can misinterpret everything. He might think she changed for no reason. He might believe it's impossible to understand her. He might assume she's sending mixed signals. But often the explanation is much simpler. The stage of life has changed, and with it, her